Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
That thing you saw up in the sky today was indeed the sun. Verified. Don't get used to it, though. We actually have some more snow in the forecast. Mara?
We're going to have Iowa caucus results tonight. Michigan's primary is in about a month. And tonight, there are some concerns over changes to how we vote.
Okay, Mara, and a legal fight over a toddler from the UK is playing out here in Detroit. An unusual child custody case tops our news here at 5.
A British investment banker filed a request in U.S. federal court to have his baby son return to the UK with him. The mother and the baby have been living with family in Michigan. Rod Maloney live tonight to fill in some of the blanks on a very unusual case, Rod.
I think unusual is an understatement, Devin. Bizarre could be more like it. This is the pleading. It's about 80 pages long. It was filed by the father from Britain. It includes pleadings with The Hague. So we're talking international intrigue here. But here's the thing. The mother never got this. So they found out about it, and now they come to court today, and they weren't really prepared to do much of anything. So let's take a look, and it gets stranger from there.
Mr. Worcester. You have anything to say?
This is Christopher Anthony Worcester. He's a big money investment banker who lives in one of the priciest zip codes in all of London. He's not talking, but his complaint asks the court to send baby Elio and his mother back to London so he can be near his son. Meantime, this is Andrea Elizabeth Grebe, the mom, in the rust-colored coat and black hat. She did not want her picture taken. She's living in the Metro Detroit area to take care of family members and has Elio, who's about 11 months old, living here with her. The couple split, and her attorney Russell Brown says the relationship is permanently broken.
I'm very strongly of the opinion that this is a matter basically of a bully who is attempting to intimidate and coerce his former girlfriend.
There's more intrigue in that Andrea renounced her American citizenship many years ago and is now a citizen of the Netherlands. She and her son are here on visitors' visas, expired visas, says the father, although his own pleadings show copies of the visas and they appear to be current.
At the beginning, he was not interested in the child that he fathered. That said, this to me looks like a situation where he's using the child to gain influence over her.
Now, Christopher Worcester and his attorney had nothing to say today. They're letting the pleadings speak for them, but there's a temporary restraining order in place. And so the mom, Ms. Grebe, had to turn in the visa and the passport to the judge today, and she must stay in the area. But the judge gave them orders. He said, look, see if we can work this out in an adult fashion. We'll see how that goes. Back to you.
It is so unusual, Rod. When do they go back to court now again?
They're back on March 3rd, but again, the judge had said, see if you can work something out. But in the meantime, Ms. Grebe's attorney is telling me that there's a distinct possibility that he is going to end up going to a local court in Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor, because he doesn't believe that the father really has parental rights, and he may have a court hearing to sort that all of this out. So this thing is getting more interesting by the minute.
Sure is. We'll stay on it. All right, Rod.
Well, you said it earlier. It was so nice to see the sun. You also teased something else that's not so good that's coming later.
I know. Let's just focus on how mild it felt today rather than what we have actually more than one day this week, right, Ben?
I'm game for that. Yeah, I mean, we are still in the upper 40s. This was the second day in a row that we hit the 50s. Yesterday, we hit a record high. Today, we were close, but didn't quite get there. And check out this over the next 4 days. We're going to see some commutes with some issues. Tuesday, it's going to be in the morning. That's going to be a medium impact. Same goes on Wednesday. But Thursday, it's both commutes, morning and afternoon. And that morning commute's going to be the big problem of the week. Friday, also both commutes impacted by weather, but to a lesser extent. So of the 8 morning drives that we're looking at coming up, 6 of them are going to have weather issues. We will focus on this sucker right there and talk about just how much snow we're expecting in just a few minutes. Kim?
Okay, Ben. It is the beginning of the end of President Trump's impeachment trial. Today, the trial opened with closing arguments on the Senate floor. Senators heard from both the House impeachment managers and Trump's lawyers. Alice Barr takes us inside the proceedings from Capitol Hill.
Good evening. Though the outcome of President Trump's impeachment trial seems clear in the Republican-controlled Senate, the fight is not over.
The Senate will come to order.
Today, House managers and the president's lawyers dramatically resting their case in the impeachment trial of President Trump, with one last appeal to the senators who will decide if he should be removed from office.
Donald Trump has betrayed his oath to protect and defend the Constitution, but it is not too late for us to honor ours.
The House managers bear the very heavy burden of proof. They did not meet it.
The Senate preparing for a final vote on Wednesday when the Republican majority is all but certain to acquit the president. Closing arguments in Washington coming just as presidential election season opens today in Iowa.
The answer is elections, not impeachment.
House managers calling on senators to protect those elections, arguing President Trump tried to influence the results by pressuring Ukraine to investigate the Bidens and that he'll do it again.
As we speak, the president continues his wrongdoing unchecked and unashamed.
Despite this last push, Democrats effectively lost their case on Friday when Republicans united to block witnesses and documents. A few Republican senators conceding the president's actions were inappropriate, but not enough to remove him from office.
If you find that the House has proved its case and still vote to acquit, your name will be tied to his with a cord of steel and for all of history.
Senators have a chance to defend their positions in speeches on the floor before casting their final votes into history Wednesday afternoon. The White House had hoped the vote to acquit would come one day earlier before the president's State of the Union address tomorrow night. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice. Meanwhile, the state of Iowa, of course, holds its Democratic presidential caucuses tonight as Democratic voters are going to gather at nearly 1,700 precincts across the state. There are really three results to watch. Voters will stand for a candidate in what's known as the first alignment. A candidate with less than 15 support out of those is considered non-viable, and supporters of that candidate then can kind of move to their second choice. They can line up behind another candidate for the second alignment. Now, the result of the second alignment then goes towards awarding Iowa's convention delegates. We will have the latest results for you tonight on Local 4 News at 11. Meanwhile, Michigan's primary is coming up in early March next month, and for the first time, we have no reason absentee voting available in the state. And there are concerns that local clerks are just going to be swamped, not only in the primary, but the general election come November. Mara McDonald live at the Detroit City Clerk's office. Both the current Secretary of State and a former Secretary of State, Mara, have raised this issue with real concern.
Well, that's right, Devin. And, you know, it's not going to be it's going to be interesting to see who wins Michigan, but it's also going to be interesting to see how our voting process goes because of that no reason absentee. Take a look. All eyes on Iowa as the caucus kicks off, giving a first look at who among the hotly contested Democratic field will win. And the Dems will roll into Michigan in early March to fight it out here. For the first time, we have no reason absentee voting, which has local clerks bracing for thousands more absentee ballots. So much so that a former Secretary of State, Ruth Johnson, has introduced multiple bills in Lansing to try and ease the transition.
One of them is so they can take them out of the outer envelope, so the inner envelope still keeps them protected. But that, can you imagine if you get 60,000 envelopes, just getting those open?
The other would allow shifts for precinct workers, of which there are about 30,000 across the state.
It's a hard job, they don't get paid much, and they just really care. It's in their heart, and so we want to make it easier for those 30,000 people as well as our clerks, as long as we protect the integrity. And integrity is job one.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson addressing the Detroit City Council, assuring them preparations are in place.
We stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you in our dedication and work to ensure that every voice in the city and every voice is heard and that every vote is counted.
Back here live, one thing to remember about our primary, if you are interested in voting for a Democratic primary contender, you're going to see names on that ballot of people who have dropped out of the race simply because of the filing deadline they needed to meet in December in order to appear on our ballot. So you're going to see a lot of names on there, some of which have opted to drop out. We are downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, thanks, Mara. As cases of the coronavirus continue to increase around the world, here in Michigan, the response is being stepped up.
Today, the Michigan Department of Health activated its Community Health Emergency Coordination Center. Dr. Frank McGeorge here with an update on this outbreak. Doc?
Yeah, Kim and Devin, this move by the state is an important step to support the response at a state and local level. Especially important as Detroit Metro Airport is one of only 11 airports in the U.S. that travelers who have been in China in the last 14 days are being routed to for enhanced screening.
In Wuhan, China, the first of 2 new hospitals is now taking in patients. Built in less than 10 days, the Chinese government says the new hospitals are needed to slow the spread of coronavirus, which has infected tens of thousands and killed at least 360 across that country since early December. Here in the U.S., health officials say 2 of the latest people diagnosed with the virus are in Northern California. A 57-year-old man who recently returned from Wuhan, China, and then passed the infection to his wife. The federal government has declared a public health emergency, banning most foreigners who have recently been in China from entering the U.S. Flights arriving from China are being routed through one of 11 airports, where U.S. citizens will be screened and possibly isolated for 2 weeks before being allowed to go home. Aggressive steps health officials hope will prevent widespread coronavirus infections in the U.S.
The reason we haven't seen spread that is persistent type of sustained transmission is because of good public health measures.
There are still about 1,000 Americans waiting to return home from Wuhan, China, and nearly 200 others who have already returned that will remain quarantined for another week. Meanwhile, people in places with large Asian populations like Queens, New York, wear face masks to protect themselves.
Now, the CDC says as of today, 11 people in the United States have tested positive for this novel coronavirus, and worldwide, the virus has infected more than 17,000 people. Still, U.S. public health officials here say the risk to Americans is very low.
Yeah.
It's still all moving in a very concerning direction.
Keep an eye out.
Actually, yeah. All right, Doc. Ahead for us, we've got an important moment in the toxic ooze saga, what we're expecting to hear tonight at a public meeting in Madison Heights.
Plus, one local city's unique dog ordinance that sets some very specific rules aimed at keeping people safe and dogs healthy.
Also, the major announcement Rush Limbaugh made on his radio program today that's led to an outpouring of well wishes.